So some advice I give someone in purchase ledger looking to progress their finance career is go above and beyond, look at how you can add value to multiple stakeholders in the business. Purchase ledger touches multiple areas of all different businesses. So it might be going out and looking at pricing, looking at where you can cut costs or make more efficiencies, and really demonstrates the aptitude and the skills that the candidate may have.
Do your best in the role and be well regarded. Network internally and externally. Gain knowledge about what your manager does and in turn perhaps their manager. Speak to the person in the role you ultimately desire. Think about the different ways to study and progress to reach your target destination. Ask if the company provides training, any fast track programs and mentoring and coaching which could help.
The advice I give to a purchase ledger clerk really is look outside of your day-to-day. Purchase ledger is generally a high volume transactional role. So I would look at adding value to every facet of your role, really looking at supporting the business, anything from purchase terms negotiations, so helping procurement, offering simpler ways of processing high volume transactions, things like EDI or electronic processing, project work, and also an ability to reduce costs. Think laterally about these things. Don't just think about, I've got a piece of paper and we need to process it. I think, start looking outside of your role and how you can really service the business.
Looking at purchase ledger clerks who are looking to progress their finance career, I suppose really I'd turn and say to them, as I would say to anybody, consider what they're looking to achieve. Where do they want to get to? Plan how they're going to get there. Decide what qualifications they need to achieve that, and then consider what experience they need to progress to get to that point, and then have discussions internally in terms of how they can get that experience. Finally, and I think most importantly, is try and get themselves a mentor or somebody who can help them and guide them. And the final bit of advice is be patient. It is a big hurdle. I have helped purchase ledger clerks develop, but it does tend to be quite a long-term development plan for no other reason than getting over the hurdle of where they're starting from.
Working as a purchase ledger clerk is a really good place to start in a business. It gives you a good grounding of what is going on, and you can learn some really important disciplines that will help you as you develop your career in finance. You do need to be clear with yourself, though. What are your career goals and how do you want to progress? And the level and pace of progression will depend on you as an individual and what you want to achieve from your goal. So what I would say is, if you do want to push on, then don't let yourself get pigeonholed into the role. Think about what your next step is and then try and develop your skills to help you get there. So, for example, you may want to think about then your professional accounting training. Are you going for exams? If not, should you? Are you progressing through your exams quick enough if you are? And finally, it's worth remembering that even though you want to move up and you feel ready to take on a new, a more important role, there might not always be a vacancy there. And so, if you feel that you've hit a glass ceiling, and then you may need to think about looking outside your organization. It's always a big step to move out, but you can quite often achieve that lift up in responsibility and salary if you do so.
I'd ask them to be more knowledgeable about the procurement policies within their own company, to be aware of invoice fraud, and to possibly look at doing some work with some qualifications with the Chartered Institute of Procurement.
If they already have a basic accounting qualification or some knowledge or experience or even an AAT, then they can investigate studying for a CIMA or the ACCA qualification. And it depends, therefore, on where they see themselves, to what level, and I guess by when. Getting professionally qualified is a must. If you want to progress to become an accountant, as it's very difficult to prove your skills and knowledge if qualified by experience only, and it may also show a bit of a lack of professional ambition. In some companies, it's mandatory for the accountant to be qualified with either a CIMA, ACCA or ACA. And I would suggest that anybody looks into some detailed study, has some detailed study of the differences between the three qualifications, so they really understand how they differ and where they're similar.